My name is Edmeades. I'm a business consultant and a professional speaker. I speak on entrepreneurship and business, and I teach business owners how to build companies that don't take over their life. And I do that through, interesting marketing technology like Inception Marketing, and then really teaching them how to build a business that supports them instead of making them work so hard like so many business owners do. Today I was talking about Inception Marketing, which is a marketing methodology that I've developed over the years, and it's really a very different take on marketing than a lot of people are using. We think of it as being a significantly more strategic style of marketing, and it really uses a combination of understanding and psychology and really taking a look at what's important to the customers rather than always talking about our features, our products, our benefits, and that sort of thing. The audience was interesting. I speak all over the world. I've spoken in something like 20 countries around the world, and I always notice the different cultural energies they get with the audience. So they were very engaged and interesting. It took some time to get them warm and fun and that kind of stuff. But once we got in there, they were a lot of fun. They were playful, and they were definitely curious. It's always nice to have an audience that's curious and looking to soak up information. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I arrived at it's kind of funny when I travel and go to these conferences. Sometimes I travel and I get to spend a lot of time at the conferences, sometimes I don't. So today it's like I arrived and I have like 23 minutes before I have to get on the stage, and so I went up onto the stage, and so I'm really just starting to get a sense of the conference. But right now my feeling is, I see this energy and the buzz, and people are networking and connecting, and there seems to be a lot of fun happening. So I'm looking forward now to having a chance to go out and really see the summit properly. But so far, it looks like a really cool summit. It looks like you've collected some really great people around. I didn't really come to the summit with a great deal of expectation for me. I'm in the middle of a speaking tour, and so when I was asked to come to the Wolf Summit, I was really told that there'd be a lot of startup people here, and I'm really committed to traveling the world and working with entrepreneurs and business owners, and my biggest outcome really is to help people reduce the stress of business. And the best people often to work with in that sense are startups. So I think if I have any real expectation from the summit is I'm hoping it's the beginning of some relationships that I've just created with people, and they'll come and follow me on Facebook and Twitter and that sort of thing. And of course I always have one great expectation of a summit like this, is that I get invited to come back, and that other conference organizers hear about it and they invite me to come back. So I think those are my biggest expectations of the Wolf Summit. Europe is an interesting place to start a business, and I have the benefit of having owned and started companies in a number of different countries. In fact, my very first company I started in England, and so and having grown up in North America, it was really interesting to see the way the culture impacts entrepreneurship and the way the culture impacts marketing and customer service and that sort of thing. I think Europe is definitely an interesting place to start a business. I think that clearly there's a big market. There are some complications that we don't really deal with in North America. You have a wider variety of cultural difference and a lot of different languages, and I think that makes it maybe a little bit challenging. At the same time, I think there's something fabulous about it, and that is that you get to bring the lessons from one culture to another. And so, for example, I teach these intensive business, what we call business freedom experience boot camps, and I teach them in cities all over the world. And what's really neat is when I can see the different way that entrepreneurs, say in Copenhagen, where I just was yesterday, the way they behave compared to the way they do in another city. And I think that some of the great lessons that we learn in entrepreneurship is saying what works in that country that nobody in my country is doing yet, and then I get to bring it over. And so I think Europe does create a really interesting opportunity for that type of observation and learning. So yeah, if I had to give advice to a young entrepreneur, I can't give it down only to one piece of advice, and here's why. Because my first advice for a young entrepreneur is don't do it. Don't start a business. And the reason I say that, it's a little bit of a joke, but the reason I say that is that business it's not easy. A lot of times a person quits their job, and then they think, I'll quit my job and I'll have all this freedom and independence. And then one day they wake up and realize now they have 14 jobs. Because they used to have one job, now they have to do the sales, they have to do the marketing, they have to do the accounting, they have to do the management. And so for many people, it will not be easy, and most of them will fail. And so often I actually tell young entrepreneurs at the beginning of a talk, don't do it. And I'm kind of joking, but the fact is that if I say don't do it, and that stops them, then they were not ready to start a business. And so if they stay after I've said don't do it, now what I would say is this, is remember that it is about quality of life and fun. If it is not fun, if it is not improving the quality of your life, it is not worth doing.